Hello party people. So I just got home from a party. I don't even know how late. It is 1:36 in the morning and I just had the urge to film a YouTube video. Also because I'm in exam phase and I don't have any time to research a YouTube video and do it properly. So things like that help me a lot to just without a script, without anything, sit down and do the video. And today we are actually talking about an extension to the previous video about things that I wish I knew from my teens or things that I learned from my teens. And this video is about why it is so important to choose yourself and why you and me are probably doing it wrong or were probably doing it wrong for a long time. So I feel like in every stage of life, wherever we are in whatever social cycle or let's say social status we got born in or class, we always have some sort of expectation to fulfill from our family members, friends, teachers, whatever. And I feel like that's also what I think is really problematic about the 20s, because everyone says that you should be accomplishing certain kind of things and like having a child or whatever, a full-on career by the end of the 20s. And just like genuinely, I feel like the 20s put so much pressure on the people because you should accomplish a lot of things. You should be financially stable, you should have a child, you should have a full-on relationship by the end of your 20s when you're reaching 30. But then also you should live, you should party, you should be broke, you should not worry. And it's just like so many things at once that we actually have to do. And I think especially the 20s put so much pressure on people, and I personally think that that pressure is like full on created by people, and it doesn't make sense in my head because everyone's lives is different and everyone goes in their own way, has their own path, because we are just humans and we have our own baggage or bags of things that are supposed to be happening in our life, or that we are like that we want to strive for and accomplish, and they're obviously completely different from each other. So I don't really understand the pressure to put that on people, but pressure obviously creates a lot, and expectations could go anywhere. Like for example, when people put pressure on you to be in a relationship because you see that every one of your friends has gotten into a relationship so far and you never had a boyfriend or girlfriend. Or for example, when it comes to a certain job, like you should work a stable job, a 9 to 5, because it's safe, it's secure. Or I could name many things, but I feel like when we get put on pressure on us, when we get told to do a certain kind of thing and we don't even know who we are yet, it completely destroys us. And when I say that we don't know who you are, it means that we haven't gotten the opportunity to self-discover. Like for example, let's just say we haven't discovered ourselves, and first of all, self-discovery never stops. Like I could go out tomorrow and I could realize something completely different about myself that I never realized before. Like there's no stage where we're like, oh, I got myself, my life, my persona, everything figured out. But you can work towards getting yourself figured out and walk like higher and higher. But let's just say we don't have ourselves figured out, and we, for example, get a job that people expect us to take. We take the degree that is safe instead of the degree that we actually want to study. Or we get into a relationship. Like these things could honestly lead to horrible things. Like there are so many bosses and jobs that are like so cruel. I learned that from own experience. Or for example, in a relationship, especially in a relationship, because I feel like these are things that I see so often, because people get insecure because all their friends have been in relationships and everyone has been in a relationship except of them. So it feels like a huge deal breaker and it feels like a thing that they need to do to be worthy, even though that is completely wrong. But so you kind of get into a relationship often, or I've seen loads of people get into a relationship just to be with someone, just to have someone available, just to like also say to people that you are in a relationship. And that can destroy people because you don't have any standards at that time. Often you ignore all the red flags, and that person doesn't even have to be a complete red flag, but they can also be just misaligned with who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then you also don't know what you want. And that could seriously damage you on like a long-term basis, especially with friends. Genuinely, when I didn't know who I was in my teens, especially my teens, I had the most toxic friends. Afterwards, once I got myself figured out more and more, I like had better friends, especially because when you know who you are, you don't tolerate disrespect because you know that you're the shit, and you know that it doesn't matter what people say. Like, for example, if somebody says, oh yeah, you're too loud, you're too much, you're like, you study too much for me, you're too goal oriented for me, whatever, or you're not my type, you're not physically attractive, whatever. Like, when people say that now to me, I'm like, okay, whatever. I do like myself. I do think this and that of myself. So when you say something, it just surpasses me because I know I'm not that. I'm not your perception. I'm my own perception, and that is all that matters. Like, for example, I think I heard from this on Instagram when I was doom scrolling once. But if somebody would ever go up to you and would be like, oh my god, that purple shirt that you're wearing is so ugly, and you're actually wearing a white shirt, and you'd be like looking down, being like, what the heck are you talking about? My shirt is not purple, my shirt is white, and you wouldn't take it personally. So just tell yourself that you're not purple. Like, the things that people say about you, they may be true for them, they may be true in their head because they're projecting their own stuff, their own insecurity, their own misbelief onto you because you're the thing that they can never be. And that doesn't need to affect you. That honestly doesn't need to affect you. But obviously, if you don't know who your persona is, if you don't know what your values are, what your boundaries are, what kind of person people are, your vibe, what things you want to strive for, obviously, when somebody is saying these things, you take it personally and you want to change. Like, I did in my teens a lot of things that I'm still embarrassed of. Sometimes I wake up in the night like sweating, being like, please just let me crawl into a hole and never come out, because I genuinely changed myself for people that insulted me in the first place and that don't even care about me. And that is genuinely the most disrespectful thing that I could have ever done for myself. But to be honest, I was like 11 years old, so obviously I probably couldn't have done better because I was really young. But for these things, it is so important to know who you are, because no matter what comes to you, like when a friend starts disrespecting you, when your boss calls you stupid, when you relationship makes you feel insecure with other women or other men, could be everything, like it would, like, you would not tolerate it. You would stand your ground, you would stand your boundaries. And that is what I mean, because when I was my most insecure self, I had all the connections, I had all, like, I had a large circle of friends, I had genuinely everything. But those weren't real friends. Those were people that knew that I was easy because I tolerated everything, because I didn't even know how to respect myself. So, moving on to the part how we actually get to know who we are. And as I said before, there's no stage when you have yourself fully figured out. Like, that is life development. You're meant to develop throughout life, and you're meant to develop your persona. You could be going out tomorrow, meeting a person that does a skill, and you'd be completely fascinated about that skill, and then that could be also a huge part of your persona. So obviously there's no having yourself completely figured out, but there are certain things that you can obviously try to get yourself figured out. Like, first of all, I'd say to journal and meditate. These are like the most simple steps. It literally takes 5 minutes a day. It is nothing. And I often journal when I feel like I have too much emotion within myself. Like, I have a thing, I have the need to constantly strive for something, and I get incredibly mad at myself because I have such high expectations, especially academically, and I set myself too high goals and I can never accomplish them throughout a day because it's just like too much to do, too much to study for a person. Then I always beat myself up, especially when I was procrastinating the entire day and I was like scrolling. I genuinely beat myself up like crazy. And then eventually I get my pink journal out and I journal, and then it starts coming out why I feel that way. I usually write down something of like, oh, I'm so angry. Why can't I get myself up to study? I wanted to study. I wanted to get so many things done, but I just scrolled on my phone. I wish I had more time for my hobbies. My entire apartment is messy. I just canceled on my friend because I wanted to study, but then I ended up scrolling. And this is information. And I wouldn't have gotten that out of myself if I wouldn't have put it onto paper. And obviously, if I have this information on paper and I can read it back, I can know what I have to do. Like, for example, in this Beispiel, example. In this example, when I look back at it, I know that I deeply want to study, but I just feel like I'm expecting too much to me and it's just like too much for a person. So obviously, since I wake up in the morning and I know, oh my God, for the rest of the day I'm going to study, I'm procrastinating because I know I don't want to study for the day. But then also in the journal, you see the things that I actually want. You see that I'm overwhelmed by my messy apartment and that I can't have a clean mind if my apartment is completely a shithole. And also that I want to spend time with friends, that I want to do a hobby. So I try to reschedule my day a little bit to fit at least one activity, like at least an hour or half of an hour of a hobby in, so that I could be something that I could be excited about. That I know, okay, if I get this study session done, I'll actually do something nice for myself. And these are the things that clear my mind, and these are the things that get me going. And you could use journaling for genuinely everything. And the more you find out that lays in your mind, the more you know about yourself. So this is something that I genuinely always recommend. Also meditating. Also genuinely, sometimes I just meditate for 2 minutes. And especially during exam phase, it helps a lot. Because when I feel like my head is exploding and I just sit down for 5 minutes and I just sit with my thoughts, I really realize what lies within myself and what I'm constantly like ruminating about while I meditate, and like what passes by and what gets stuck with me. And that also tells me a lot about what I want to accomplish, my motivation, how I feel myself, what I am insecure about, and that leads to things that I can honestly work on. And the second thing that I think is like really important is to get yourself a consistent hobby. Like, obviously you don't have to do it at that certain time every time a week. I am also not the type of person that likes hobbies where you have to meet up with a group. Like, for example, if it would be soccer or football, every Thursday afternoon starting at 8 p.m. That would genuinely not be my thing. I hate specific times, but just have something that you like doing, whether it should be reading, a sport, gym, or even like going on a walk. You can choose the most simple things that you can consistently do. You don't even have to do them consistently all the time. It is just that you know to have something that you're passionate about that you can go back to whenever things are getting too much. And also, I think experimenting with things is amazing. Like, I have tried so many things, because back then in school I was like genuinely in PE, I was the worst person ever. I always got voted out last for the when like people did the team voting. And in primary school I made boys cry because I was so bad and they lost because of me. So throughout my entire life I thought, oh my god, I'm bad at every sport. Whatever sport I do, I'm bad at it. But I do love running, I do love going to the gym, I do love a little Pilates workout or whatever. And I would have never tried them if it wouldn't be like for one other person back then. But when I started trying them, I'm like, oh my god, I do like sports and I have a good physique and I have the potential to build myself something. So what am I even worried about? You know what I mean? And nowadays I'm genuinely, every time somebody asks me to like go with them and do something that I have never done before, I'm always like, heck yeah. Like, it helps me so much. And back then, when I should honestly do it again, but back then when I was freshly 18, I think I was even 17 when I started this, I made myself like a list with date ideas that I would love to do with a significant other. And I decided to do them alone, and I always ticked them when I did. And these were like 2 people activities. Like, I went mini golfing alone, I went to the cinema alone, I went to a nice fancy restaurant alone. Like, I did everything alone. And also like having the opportunity to try so many things and hobbies and everything kind of helps. And mainly figuring out yourself is spending time with yourself. Like, you don't need to do crazy research. You can also just sit with your thoughts and with nothing, and your brain will immediately come up with what to do. Your brain will know what you want. And so you don't even have to do much. You can just relax, you can just lay back. But as soon as you're like, okay, I'm putting that phone down, I'm focusing on myself, and I'm just sitting in silence, you will genuinely know what your inner desire is. And especially, I feel like with childhood, we do a lot of things we love, or that end up being things that we like really like in adulthood in childhood. Like, for example, I used to love reading, I used to love painting a lot. I always played like theater with my friends, so I genuinely filmed so many videos. And I feel like these are all things that I love so much. And I feel like, as I said, in our childhood, we like have a lot of things that people told us not to do anymore because it is not considered our age. But I feel like if there are like some things that you lost throughout your childhood, I would try to get in touch with it again. If you don't like it, you don't like it anymore. That's completely fine. People also develop and change. But a lot of things, I stopped them because they weren't cool anymore. And then I got in touch with them again, and I was like, oh my god, I really miss this. I really miss doing these things. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And definitely the most important thing, I'm saving the important things for last. That thing, put it down. Genuinely put it down, turn it off, lock it. I don't know what you give it to your mother, to your boyfriend, whatever. I don't know what you need to do, but just genuinely get rid of it. It is crazy, especially with the scrolling. I have tried everything. Like, I have so many app blocks, like devices that block social media platforms on my phone. I have deinstalled every social media platform, and I'm always going in there through the browser, and I still can't stop scrolling. It's genuinely, it does so much to your brain. The lack of dopamine, we get addicted, and especially our brain gets bored when we see the same thing for a long time. So when we are scrolling, we're seeing all the different pictures. Of course we get addicted. But whenever you can spend time with yourself, whenever you are whenever you have time to do a hobby or something, you are scrolling, because that sucks you in, but that pushes you further away from yourself, and that is also what causes insecurity, because obviously you see all these people having incredible skills, living their lives, being rich, and you just see such a performative fake version of other people's lives, because these people's lives aren't even like that 101. So it's just like, genuinely, there is nothing that got me more out of touch with myself than social media. And obviously I do think that social media can be helpful in a few ways. There are loads of creators that are also amazing when it comes to mental health and think like hobbies, whatever you want to improve in or learn from. But I feel like a lot of stuff that is on the media is just wasting your time. It's just like wasting your precious lifetime, and it's just bullshit. I'm sorry, a lot of stuff on there is just like, I'm sorry, TikTok dances. What is the point? Like, I recognize your talent, but why? Why are we spending our time with watching so many TikTok dances? It is weird. Yeah, you heard me. But so just like make sure to stay away. And what I would recommend is to unfollow everyone that makes you insecure or that you aren't learning anything from. Like, if it doesn't give you anything valuable, why are you still spending your time with that content? Like, do you even want to become like that person? Do you even want to learn like this person from this person? And please don't engage in internet negativity. Like, there are so many rage baiting profile sites where the people there genuinely just posting stuff to get attention, and like, when you still talk about them, when you're still involved in what they're doing, you're sending so much energy towards them, and that is what makes you negative as well. So please just don't engage in that, and especially celebrity gossip. I'm sorry, you don't know these people. You don't know these people. You don't know what they are doing. You don't know who they are. So I don't care if Justin Bieber is still in love with Selena. He has a kid with Hailey. So just leave them alone. Just don't engage in that. It's just like so useless. Who are these people? Why are we so obsessed with celebrities? It is just like something that doesn't really make sense in my head. But yeah, that's basically it. I think that's basically it. That was my mind blur. I hope I said something useful, and that's what I mean. Like, there's this famous quote. I think it goes like, if you want to get butterflies, make sure to have a beautiful garden. And if you have a beautiful garden and no butterflies come, you still have a beautiful garden. Everything comes from within yourself. When you are yourself, you will attract, like, you will be magnetic. I promise you, everything will come along your way. You will get your job opportunities, you will get your relationship, you will get your ideal friend group, you will get your looks, your persona. Everything will come to you once you have chosen yourself and once you continuously respect yourself. People will respect you. Sometimes I hate it that it's like this, and I don't want it to be like that, but sometimes you actually have to prove yourself for people to respect you. And so make sure to always stay within yourself, to make sure who you are. And I love you. Bye, baddies. I hope you learned something from this video.